It's that time again, my top 100 board games of all time. It's been a while since the last list in 2023, and let's just say there's been some movement. Welcome back. Today we are kicking off my countdown of my top 100 board games of all time, my personal favorites. I'll be breaking this up into 10 videos, counting down from 100 all the way to number 1. This year, the list saw a lot more movement and shakeups than in previous years. I've played a lot of new stuff since 2023, and some games have really climbed the ranks, while others have been gathering a little too much dust. I started off by ranking about 400 games, not every game that I've ever played, just the ones that I actually like and that I thought might have a shot at being in the top 100. So if a game didn't make the cut, that doesn't mean it's bad. It just means it wasn't quite good enough to make it into my personal Hall of Fame. Before we jump into numbers 100 through 91, let's pour one out for a few games that didn't quite hang on this year. Honestly, both of these were sort of a surprise for me because I love both of these games, and I think that just goes to show how much I really like the games that did make my top 100. First up is Clank, which slipped from 99 to 139, and Lords of Waterdeep, which dropped from 85 all the way down to 143. Still great games, just not quite top 100 material for me anymore. All right, with that out of the way, let's kick things off. Here are my picks for numbers 100 through 91.
100.
Number 100 is Oh My Goods, designed by Alexander Pfister and published by Lookout Games. Oh My Goods is a compact engine-building card game that does an incredible amount with a tiny deck of cards. Each card can be used as a building, a resource, or a good, and you guys know that I am a sucker for multi-use cards. You start with a small workshop and a handful of resources, but every round you're producing, chaining, and refining goods into more valuable products. It's like a pocket-sized factory simulator. The game has this neat push your luck element during production. You can choose to take a risk to try to produce more efficiently, but if the cards don't flip your way, you might end up short on goods. For a game that plays in about 30 minutes, it scratches that same itch as something like Le Havre or Furnace, just distilled down into its essence. It's a perfect travel game for engine building fans.
99.
Number 99 is Raiders of the North Sea, designed by Shem Phillips and published by Garphill Games. Raiders of the North Sea is one of those games that I think really nails its theme. You're assembling a Viking crew, stocking your provisions, and setting out to raid settlements, monasteries, and fortresses for loot and glory. What makes it special is the worker placement system. You don't just place a worker, you place one and remove another. So every turn gives you 2 actions, and the rhythm of deciding which worker to place and which to take is a dynamic puzzle that never gets old. It also creates some very tense timing situations as well. The art by the Miko gives the game its now iconic Garphill look, and it essentially kicked off an entire line of similar games. It's lighter than many other games in that series, but I still find myself coming back to it when I want something snappy and interactive.
98.
Number 98 is Gaia Project, designed by Jens Drogmuller and Helge Ostertag and published by Furlenspiel. A Gaia Project is Terra Mystica in space. But honestly, it is more than that. This is a heavy Euro with layers upon layers of strategic depth. You're leading an alien civilization, expanding across a modular galaxy, terraforming planets to make them habitable for your species, and building an economic engine that will make your brain sweat. What I love about Gaia Project is how clean it is once you learn it. The tech tracks, the income cycles, the power mechanisms, everything interlocks in a way that rewards long-term planning and careful timing. It's not a game that I play often, but every time I do, it reminds me of why it's still one of the smartest and most satisfying heavy Euros out there.
97.
Number 97 is Francis Drake, designed by Peter Hawes and published by Eagle Gryphon Games. Francis Drake is a brilliant mix of planning and payoff. Set during the Age of Exploration, you are preparing your fleet in Plymouth before setting sail for the Caribbean to raid ports, attack galleons, and plunder treasure. The first half of each round is a really fascinating pre-voyage planning phase where players take turns moving along a single track, stopping to gather supplies, recruit crew, or arm cannons. The catch is that once you have passed a space, you can't go back. So timing when to grab what is crucial. Then the second half of the round is where you set sail, and you secretly plan which targets to attack. When those reveals happen, there's this great tension of, did I overcommit? Did I go somewhere where someone else is already attacking? It's dramatic, it's strategic, and even though it's pretty old for a game at this point, it still looks fantastic on the table. It's one of those mid-weight Euros that really deserves more love.
96.
Number 96 is P.A.S.S, designed by Yu Wang and published by Board Game Rookie and distributed here in the US by our local publisher, Grand Gamers Guild. P.A.S.S is one of the new entries on my list this year, and it came completely out of nowhere. It blends card shedding and poker into something that feels both tense and inventive. At the start of a round, the first player will play down essentially a poker hand, like a pair, a straight, three of a kind, etc. And everyone has to follow by playing the same type of poker hand, but at a higher value. So if I played a pair of eights, you would need to play a pair of nines or higher. If you can't do that, you pass. And this lets you take a pass token, which can be very useful for a couple of reasons. You can either play it with a hand that matches the last hand played, basically saying, my pair of eights beats your pair of eights. The other option is to use a pass token to flip a card to the other side. So each card has two different values on it, and flipping a card around might give you what you need to play the next hand of cards. You play until someone lays down their last card, and they get a token. Collect 3 tokens, and you'll win the game. Really simple in concept, but very tricky to play well, which is a great combo. It's one of those games where the first play kind of leaves you scratching your head, but then the second play clicks and you realize just how brilliant the design is. I've been introducing it to more and more groups recently, and every time it sparks that, okay, let's play it again reaction. Once I've gotten a few more plays, I'll be curious to see where it lands in future lists, but for now, it's earned a well-deserved debut here at number 96.
95.
Number 95 is Res Arcana, designed by Tom Lehman and published by Sandcastle Games. Res Arcana is one of those games that feels way bigger than its box. Designed by Tom Lehman, who is probably best known for Race for the Galaxy, it is a tightly constructed engine builder where players draft a small set of cards and then use those cards to generate and convert resources into victory points. What feels so great about it is how economical it feels. You only have 8 cards total in your deck, so every single draw matters. You're not digging through randomness. You're mastering efficiency, finding clever combinations, and pivoting strategies on the fly. It's that constraint of only having 8 cards to work with and trying to build the most efficient engine before anyone else that really makes this game shine. It's fast, elegant, and plays beautifully at all counts. I love that every play feels like a puzzle you're trying to crack, and when you pull off a combo that just hums, it's pure magic.
94.
Number 94 is Rumble Nation, designed by Yusuke Sato and published by Hobby Japan. Rumble Nation is one of those hidden gems that's criminally underappreciated. It's a dice-driven area control game that plays in about 30 minutes, but offers some surprisingly deep tactical decisions. You're rolling dice to deploy armies across feudal Japan, trying to predict where battles will cascade as regions resolve in numerical order. It's all about setting up chain reactions. If you win one region, your leftover troops will spill over into neighboring ones, so a well-timed victory can trigger an entire domino effect. It's lightweight, yes, but it has that clever simplicity that you see in great Japanese designs. Tight, clean, and full of subtle choices. And the best part, it plays fast enough that you'll want to rematch immediately.
93.
Number 93 is Endless Winter Paleoamericans, designed by Stan Kordansky and published by Fantasia Games. Endless Winter is this big, beautiful mashup of deck building, worker placement, and tableau building. Somehow, it all works together seamlessly. You are leading a tribe through the Ice Age, hunting animals, building monoliths, and expanding across the map to secure territory. The heart of the game is the combination of short-term card play and long-term board development. You're constantly balancing your immediate resource needs with the endgame scoring opportunities. It's also one of the few games that manages to feel epic without dragging. The production is stunning, and the theme is refreshingly different. It's packed with clever decisions at every turn. Probably one of the best medium to heavyweight Euros of the last few years. Really, the only downside here is that it barely fits on my table.
92.
Number 92 is Keyflower, designed by Richard Brees and Sebastian Bleasdale, and published by R&D Games. Keyflower is one of the most interesting and interactive Euro games ever made. It combines worker placement with auction mechanics in a way that forces constant tactical adaptation. Each round, players bid for village tiles using their workers, but those same workers are also how you activate tiles to gain resources and abilities. The result is this fascinating tension. Do you spend workers to try to win a tile, or do you use them now to get the stuff you need? The system of different colored workers adds another layer. You can only use matching colors to bid, and your opponent might force you into a tough choice if they start monopolizing a certain color. Every game plays differently, and the balance of timing, bidding, and engine building makes it one of those designs that never feels solved. It's not the flashiest game by any means, but it is brilliantly designed.
91.
Number 91 is The Bloody Inn, designed by Nicholas Robert and published by Pearl Games. The Bloody Inn is a wonderfully macabre card game about a family of innkeepers in 19th century France who, rather than simply offering a nice night's stay, decided it's more profitable to murder their guests and bury them under the floorboards. It's dark, but it's played with this tongue-in-cheek humor that keeps it fun rather than grim. Mechanically, it's a clever hand management puzzle. You're trying to decide which cards to recruit, which to spend for actions, and which to turn into permanent buildings that make your gruesome enterprise even more efficient. Every play feels like you're trying to balance risk and reward while managing your limited cash and cards. And the timing of when to spend an action to turn in your pocket money for a check adds a great feeling of tension as well. And honestly, how many other games let you profit off of politely disposing of your clientele? And that wraps up the first part of my top 100 countdown, numbers 100 through 91. We've already covered everything from tiny card games to sprawling behemoths, and we are just getting started. In the next video, I'll be diving into numbers 90 through 81, including a few titles that have aged surprisingly well, and a couple of newcomers that have made a huge impression this year. If you're enjoying the series, make sure to like, subscribe, and tell me which of these games would make your top 100 list, or which one you think I am totally wrong about. And until next time, let's get another round for the table.